Welcome to the podcast, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation, hosted by Landry Holy, CEO and founder of Fairval. In this podcast channel, we will exchange with entrepreneurs, industry experts, financial institutions, and investors on how they contribute to creating value in various travel verticals, thanks new innovative tech solutions and financial services. So, if you have an interest in travel retailing, hospitality, urban mobility, maritime, aviation and space tech, then this podcast is for you.
Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of our podcast, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation. Hydrogen is seen more and more as the relevant energy alternative for the future of travel and transportation. Why is that? Well, first of all, it fosters zero-emission transportation. Secondly, it can be produced from green energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric energy. And thirdly, it is a versatile solution for various future travel and transportation verticals. Indeed, today, various innovation hydrogen-based projects are being explored across different modes of transportation, including cars, buses, trucks, trains, shipping, and aviation. But from a more global travel perspective, this is also the case within the hospitality industry and generally the real estate industry. Based on these facts, we just could not talk about the hydrogen energy topic within our podcast. And this is why we have with us today Alex Ivanenko, CEO and founder of HyWatts, a US-based startup which provides long-term storage solutions, amongst others, for green energy. Alex is also the former founder and CEO of the successful venture HyPoint, recently acquired and which produces innovative hydrogen fuel cells. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Landry. Hello, everyone. Thank you that you have me today, too. Mm-hmm.
A pleasure. So, Alex, to set the stage, could you share the story of your professional journey and the path that led you to your current role and venture?
Yeah, so my journey started in 2005. So when I graduated from Saratov State Technical University, then after 3 years I spent as a postdoc, where I received PhD in electrochemistry in the same university. Then after I started work for American-based company 3M and Scoring, where I was a business development leader, and where I take projects from R&D stage to fully commercialization. Exactly what I actually did in my previous journey, venture, and HyWatts right now. And so I spent in both corporation about 10 years. And in 2016, I decided to become more on move to venture side. And that's how I joined my first team. And later in 2019, we founded HyPoint. So from 2016 to 2019, we developed fuel cells also based on hydrogen fuel cells specifically for drones and robots. And in 2019, we moved our focus to big aviation because we were accepted by Alchemist Accelerator, which is one of the top tier acceleration program in Silicon Valley. And that's how we started our journey with HyPoint. So we started from scratch. So it were like only 4 co-founders, but in 3 years we were about 50 employees company. So we had R&D and pilot manufacture site in the United Kingdom, and yeah, so we built full scale prototype of our system, 20 kilowatt single power model, where we integrated all our ideas on high temperature fuel cell membrane development and the bipolar plates and etc., which is were the core technology in HyPoint. And my company was acquired. So my company was acquired by Zero Avia in September 2022. Then after 1 year, I spent with Zero Avia as a general manager. and I was responsible for business development and all activities in eVTOL and rotorcraft market. And in August, again last year, so just 6-7 months ago, I decided to leave the Arabia, left all my earn out, I would say 70% of my earn out on the table, just to start work on new journey HyWatts, because I strongly believe that I can bring much more value and benefits for our society doing completely new venture with my existing team.
Wow, impressive journey. Just before we move to HyWatts, just had a specific question regarding High Point, which is again a fantastic journey you had here. I wanted to know what made High Point so successful, because I knew High Point through the eVTOL space, working with
Right.
a couple of projects, and everyone was saying like High Point is really the tech that you want to integrate. Can you share a little bit what made you so successful on that point?
I think that's the main feature and like of our system was that we found a way how to make lightweight fuel cell, right? So because actually that is specific power at system level, specific power at system level for aviation, it's really matter for everyone, for any project. And just using our like a our talented team really invented a few approach how to make possible lightweight version of fuel cells, and again using like a standard physics approach, high temperature recirculation, bipolar plates, and etc etc. That's how we are create the idea. And as a result, so indeed everybody, no, I don't want to say everybody, but many companies who is really work on like create eVTOLs in that and real aircraft wanted to integrate our system in their design. So because again, when you met with my team, so you will see that it's not just a sort of blah blah blah. So behind that, it was a real technology, understanding of all processes of fuel cell, and how fuel cell works, thermodynamics, and etc. So that is why we were very solid. And actually, what we did for the last 3 years, I mean, in Five Point, indeed confirmed that all our ideas and really uh, uh, really bring a lot of value for our customers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it was the right timing, because I remember that when there was the eVTOL projects, a lot were moving more for pure electric, and then some realized that that's maybe not the only design to look at, but hydrogen was clearly a good
Yeah.
option.
I agree. So it was funny time at that time, So because everybody thought that, hey, we will do, like, everybody accept the idea about electric aircrafts, right? So it's easy, right? So to use it, it's a more ecologically friendly and etc. But everybody thought at that time that lithium batteries will be an answer. Moreover, I still meet time to time people who really believe that lithium batteries can be an answer for aviation, for eVTOLs. And actually it can, but the missions, right? So you can execute it will be very short period of time and etc. Because they have some other fundamental limitation. And I when I spoke in the beginning with a lot of customers and partners, they say, Alex, no hydrogen, lithium batteries. It will be a significant improvement just in 2 years. Something it sounds like that at that time. And right now it's a full 5 years after, right? So already, and of course lithium batteries improved, right? So but operation condition of lithium batteries in eVTOL, or for instance in like a sort of Tesla in the car electric vehicles, is not the same. So that is why you can't get same performance of lithium batteries for cars or for heavy duty trucks and for eVTOLs or for aircrafts. And that was the main limitation, because energy density was also important. And we started to promote that idea. And as soon as we achieved some results in lab, and in small prototype level, short stack level. So we received a lot of interest from top tier companies who's developed and already understood by that time that lithium batteries, it's answer, but not full answer on the question where exactly aviation will be in in the near future.
All right. Right. So let's now move to your new venture now, your new baby, which is HyWatts. And I like to start by a simple question: is what are the fundamentals issues that HyWatts is trying to solve today?
Yeah. So the fundamental issue actually starts from uh, the understanding that renewable power, even as a cheap, right? So we pays a lot. So just an example. After the deal, I was able to purchase a small townhouse in Danville, which is the East Bay in California, and I was happy about a month. So until I received my first bill for electricity, and I was shocked. I have to pay 35 cents per kilowatt hour. I said, what? Why I pay so much? Because I heard a lot that California has up to 60% renewable energy in the grid, which is one of the cheapest power source on our planet. That's the truth. And I started to analyze my bill and breakdown, and figured out that more than 50% of the bill I pay for transmission and distribution, actually for electricity delivery. And this is actually the problem that um, transmission and distribution line and distribution of renewable energy is very expensive because it's located far from us, and you have to build you have to build new infrastructure and or upgraded infrastructure to deliver that energy to my house. And this is sort of paradox. Cheaper energy we want to have in the grid, much more we started to pay, because again,
Mhm.
infrastructure behind require a lot of investments. That's I said that, okay, Alex. So it seems that it might be a problem. And California is one of the progressive states, right? So in terms of penetration of renewable energy, and that situation will happen around the world. So we have to think about how to eliminate and avoid that problem. And how to avoid that problem is to have local generation, because of that power, and have it in the place where we exactly need it, because renewable energy was one of the like a excellent feature that it's effective, efficient in any at any scale, right? So it's a 1 kilowatt or 100 megawatts, sort of. That's the same, but I mean, there is not big differences, right, between price when you get per kilowatt hours from solar panel. So that is why the logic is that we have to have local generation in the place where we need it. But at the same
Mhm.
time, all renewable energy is it's a highly intermittent, right? So today we have sun, tomorrow we don't have sun, and etc. So that is why this power source is not a bit reliable, I would say. So how to solve that issue with intermittency and increase uh, reliability of that power source? You have to use storage, right? So long duration energy storage. And for instance, as HyWatts offer, it's long duration energy storage hydrogen, based on hydrogen, where we use hydrogen as energy storage medium. So because hydrogen is stores energy better than anything else, right? That's the idea. I hope I answered on your questions or covered
Right.
most of them.
Yeah, definitely. So, just to echo back to what you were saying. So, if I buy HyWatts solution, basically, so what you're saying is that you can take any type of green energy and
Right.
keep that energy for a certain time by transforming it in hydrogen, and then giving it back from hydrogen to electricity. Is that right in a nutshell?
Correct. Correct. On demand. On demand. So it means that you are, yes, absolutely right. So for instance, that's the case. So you have EV charging station, right? Somewhere, I don't know, in Montana, right? So which is like in the rural areas, right? And you have storage. So, for instance, during the night or in rainy days, truck or car will arrive on the EV charging station. And before we store hydrogen in like electricity uh, in hydrogen molecular, and then after on demand we convert that molecular to electricity and provide electrons again to the car. So that's the main idea.
Right. Yeah, and it's true. When you were saying about intermittent energy, it's true that sometimes we produce too much electricity, and we lose that. We need to store it, otherwise we lose that overpower. So that's quite an interesting approach. So
Right.
you start to touch base on some of the primary applications. So what is HyWatts going to target as a core, go-to-market applications?
So first of all, we started from like a three market segments where we do strongly believe that our solution can bring a lot of benefits in capex level, right? So initial investment and in the operational level. So it's a community microgrids, it's a EV charging stations, and utility scale system. That's exactly where we are targeting initially all our efforts on in terms of business.
So maybe for the audience, it could be worth recapping maybe what are the different types of energy storage solution out
Mhm.
there, and what are the drawbacks, so that everyone is on the same page, really understanding the arbitration that needs to be that is operating, and where HyWatts kind of stands out basically.
Mm. Okay, so thank you very much for this question, actually, because it's a very comprehensive landscape of different long duration energy storage, right? So it's represented by lithium batteries, flow batteries, pump hydro, compressed air, CO2, and etc. And hydrogen, of course. Different technology behind that, and gravity, and etc. But we have to understand that uh, all technologies have very certain market segments. So, for instance, where you're going to use hydrogen, you can't use lithium batteries. I mean, where hydrogen will be the most efficient long duration energy storage solution, right? So you can use lithium batteries, but you will pay a lot. Or for instance, when you may use gravity, right? So you can't use hydrogen, and etc. So for each market market segment, I would say certain application, so certain technology is available. So, but of course, we are overlapping and etc. And different people try to penetrate on different market, and that's actually when it was the idea when we started HyWatts. I didn't start from like a fundraising, right? As usual, startups doing. I started to focus on understanding the market, to understand the market niche. So where exactly we can bring a lot of benefits on operational level and on capex level. And you mentioned arbitrage, right? And we figured out that, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
hydrogen is not the best solution for arbitrage because uh, it is important for arbitrage is like a 5 minutes periods, right? So you get energy from the grid, so the lower price, and then resell it the higher price, and etc. So that's market segment. Arbitrage require high round trip efficiency. You know what round trip efficiency means, right? So it's how much
Mm-hmm.
energy you lose on the conversion from electricity to something and back to electricity, right? And hydrogen is not great. Even HyWatts technology, we are better than anything, some other technologies, right? But we are not great. We are like perhaps 2 times lower round trip efficiencies than lithium batteries. That's true. That is why we don't want to go to arbitrage. It's not our market. And when I speak with people, they say, "Oh, Alex, so you are not best in arbitrage." Yes, I know that because it's not our market, right? So we are not targeting to that market. We're targeting to market where exactly round trip efficiency doesn't matter, where people really think about how much should I pay initial capex and what's the operational cost will be. And actually, round trip efficiency is low in our case. But let's imagine that you have an energy source like a solar between 3 and 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Okay, round trip efficiency of hydrogen is low, but it will be the end, will convert that 7 cents like to 15 cents, right? Including everything already, 15 cents. But your price, initial price in capex, in apex will be so much lower compared to lithium batteries. That's because it's like a 5 times cheaper. So initial investments, and of course operational, it also will be lower because that capex will contribute a lot to like a final cost per kilowatt hour. So that's the idea. So that is why when people ask me, Alex, so what is the landscape? A lot of various technologies available. You can depends on what's the application, what's the operation, the model, right? So how you going to exploit that system. So you may choose very, very good technology specifically for that. Moreover, in our case, by the way, I would like to be honest with you. So we're integrating buffer battery too, lithium batteries based, right? So because this complementary technologies, and we are also considering right now flow batteries because it's also complementary to our solution. But what is our how to say benefits and advantage of HyWatts that we already identify and understand our market target segments, right?
Okay. And so, coming back on the design of HyWatts, could you share with us what is really the specificity of the approach of your design, and then how that translates in terms of unique selling points?
Right. So behind HyWatts, different fundamental idea, right? So, for instance, compared to High Point, where we designed the fundamentally, we try to solve the fundamental issue. We wanted to sell the challenge with weight, right? So, in all our efforts in High Point, we targeted how to minimize weight of the system, lightweight bipolar plates, recirculation loops, right? So, and etc. etc. In HyWatts, we're targeting to completely different idea. We have to, because it's ground based, right? Weight is not so important. So we're targeting to idea to bring very low cost solution. How we can do that, right? Because if you will convert, for instance, electricity to hydrogen, again, back to electricity, you have to usually use two components, right? Electrolyzer to convert electricity to hydrogen, and fuel cell to convert that hydrogen again to electricity. And in HyWatts, we found a way how to make reversible fuel cell. It's a bidirectional fuel cell. So where you can do both electrochemical process in one single membrane, I would say. So I will simplify for our audience, right? So it's much more complicated stuff, but I will simplify. In this way, that membrane, that cell works as electrolyzer. It generates hydrogen, and from this way, it works as fuel cell and generate electricity. It's very attractive technology because after that you just need to use only one component required, right? So it means that you can decrease at least 2 times your capex, because before you have to use this classic system, you have to use 2 components. Now you have to use only one component, which is actually can do the same stuff, but my higher efficiency and etc. etc. That was the idea why we said, okay, so themes that we have a solution, and this is actually the main sale point. Our technology is much cheaper what is available right now on the market in terms of capex, and as a result, in terms of opex.
Very interesting. So, one of the things I read is you're using for that the high temperature,
Right.
membranes right, and that's something which I know has been, developed not so long ago. I think the first were in the 90s, but you have gained, upgraded, or enhanced the technology thanks to some research. Is that right?
So just to be clear, so of course we are not manufacturing or developing membranes, right? So we are teaming with BASF at the moment. So they supply us high temperature membrane and membrane electrode assembly. So what we are doing right now, it's we are working on interface layer between electrode and membrane, which is actually protect membrane from leakage of phosphoric acid. Because so we are not the first actually team in the world who tried to build a reversible fuel cell based on high temperature, right? So, and the problem was in electrolyzer mode because water, when you supply water in steam mode, it reacts with phosphoric acid, and it's like a dramatically decrease performance of the membrane and increase degradation level. So the main idea is behind our approach is to use a protective layer. Again, with highly, that layer will be also highly will have that layer will have high proton conductivity, but at the same time, it's a protect direct reaction between molecular of water and phosphoric acid. So that's actually one of the idea, and that's what we are submitted for patent already. System architecture based on that, and new membrane electrode assembly design. And now we are developing. We received some validations already on like we call it like a fundamental validations on the small coupons. Now we are working on we continue our development program. So now we are assembling a lab in San Diego, California, just to continue our journey and etc.
So just for the audience to understand, so I understand. So there is this R&D effort which will bring you a furthermore unique selling point. And when is that? Do you think that program, that research activity, will reach a stage where commercial, implementation
So
can start
sure.
to take place?
Based on our roadmap, so we will have full reversible fuel cell in 2028. So 5 years from now. Because it takes time, but at the same time, we are also working on intermediate products like a high temperature fuel cell, megawatt scale for ground-based applications. It will be electrolyzer itself. It's also based on high temperature membrane. So that product will appear much earlier. So for instance, we expect to have megawatt class fuel cell based on high temperature membrane in 2025 is ready to deploy. So electrolyzer in 2026, 2027, and the reversible fuel cell 2028. But again, based on our communication with customers and LOIs we have and relations we have, so our timeline of development fit their timelines, right? So which is the most important. So I don't want to say that 5 years is too much for that technology, but again, we are developing in between in intermediate product, which will be also commercialized, like a fuel cell and electrolyzer.
Interesting. So, in terms of competition, so I suppose that innovation, you're having some IP actions there to protect it, and how do you see that as a competitive advantage? You kind of already explain when you see the long, the process that it takes to go to a maturity stage. But can you share with us, I mean, what's your approach versus the competition? If I was an investor, I would be interested to know that particular question, in fact.
Sure, a lot of so as I said, so a lot of long duration energy storage is available, right? So we have very active, competitors on the market. So I would say that we have a few loops, right? So It's a hydrogen domain, which is represented by classic system, electrolyzer plus fuel cell, and a lot of companies trying to do the same stuff in Australia, in the United States, in Europe, by the way, in the UK. So it's a very active market, right? So everybody want to build a system, electrolyzer plus fuel cell, and integrate it with renewable power source. It's not a big secret, right? And but we know our value proposition, right? Proposition, because we are cheaper, so we are more efficient, and in terms of operation, we are much attractive compared to classic system, because you need to operate one component, right? In terms of like a full landscape of competitors, like pump hydro, compressed air, flow barriers, in our market niche, we see the strong position has lithium batteries and flow batteries. So that's why we consider them as like a main competitors for our market segment. Like we haven't discussed it yet, but our market segment is community microgrids, it's EV charging station, right, and utility scale system.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the questions I had actually. So today, if I would position HyWatts, just to understand the global strategy there. So in the value chain, are you going to be someone providing licenses to your technology? Are you going to be someone actually manufacturing the solution? What is going to be tomorrow's HyWatts service offering once you have everything, the main pieces developed and ready to go?
So right now, our business model is B2B equipment sale and service contracts, right? So deliver the component to customer, work on them, etc. But of course, in the future, we will be happy to consider licensing and etc. But now, as a startup company, which is started just a half year ago, our journey. So we are considering only B2B equipment sales and service contracts, as I said earlier. But in future, I see that it may be that we will change our strategy and add additional business models like a licensing. It makes sense. But when you have like a commercial product, right? So after that, it makes sense to discuss that questions with partners and etc. So now our efforts is we are concentrated on delivery certain milestones we have this year, next year, and on promote the system and sign B2B contracts with our existing partners.
Right. And so I know that in the US, like in Europe, I would say, but specifically with the Biden's, focus to go zero emission within a certain number of years. I know that the US Department of Energy has launched a big national program to advance in the deployment of green energy. And how are you then in that case today tackling, grasping that opportunity as HyWatts, and any concrete initiative you are actually working on within that program that you've taken advantage from in a way?
Yeah, so that program actually, which is you mentioned, so they have a lot of different sites of implementation, right? So one of the is like a Department of Energy grants, hydrogen hubs, so different governmental incentives if you integrate or use hydrogen or some electric infrastructure, right? Or build that infrastructure. And I would say that we at the moment going to use all that opportunity. So for instance, Department of Energy, they announced recently like a request for information about development in new electrolyzers and membrane electrode assembly, etc. So we submitted that, right? So as a part of small business innovation research program, so which is available in the United States. And in terms of like a hydrogen hubs, which is a separate but bigger, but also big program, right? So to develop, I don't remember exactly, but it should be 10 hydrogen hubs in the United States. I think so. And we are already member of Arches hydrogen hub here in California, right? And we are right now establishing connection with others because we do strongly believe that our technology can benefit them, their projects, and we also can become active member of that societies, right? So hydrogen hub societies. And on the third, third hand, I would say, so we have our customers already considering to get some compensation and tax credits and different incentives, right? Which is again available through that program to integrate, to use and build, integrate innovative products like which is a HyWatts is doing in their in their final solution to get some compensation. But I want to emphasize, right? So Landry, especially on the customer side. So we don't so all figures I pronounced today, 15 cents per kilowatt hours, like behind the meter, doesn't include any incentives. So my idea that with our solution, we have to have business case with customers anyway. So without support and with support of especially without support of government, right? From government. So if we can if we deliver technology which can be successful without government support and other people can make business case, that's exactly what we need for the market, right? So, but at the same time, once again, a lot of program available, and of course, we will try to get all that supports which is available, and yeah, so this is also our aim, together with our partners and customers.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense. I wanted to come back just quickly on the use cases that you're aiming at, and I don't know if you could illustrate, linking to just what you said on the tractions you managed to get with some customers, and linking that to the use case you are implementing. Said in other way, how do you actually sell? What are the benefits per use case are you able to to put forward in some of the projects, and why customer says, yeah,
Right,
definitely,
right.
that's what we want, that's what we need.
So, for instance, one of our market niche is EV charging station. I mentioned that already, right? So EV charging stations, which is will be located in no or limited infrastructure, right? And just imagine that, and we are targeting to electric vehicles, small cars market, but actually our aim to have, we're targeting to heavy duty trucks, right? So it's not only hydrogen powered, but also lithium powered, battery powered heavy duty truck. And the problem is the same, is the infrastructure. So, for instance, in the United States, we have about 2,000 truck stops, right? Which is already connected to the grid. But let's imagine that all the trucks will be converted to electric version, right? Grid capacity is not enough. So that is why anyway you have to integrate something like a local generation, right? And if all renewable energy will require long duration energy storage. And the case we are working on right now, and so for instance, with one of our customers here in California, he's going to build 3 EV charging stations for heavy duty trucks between Port of Long Beach and Las Vegas. And then our technology is well, we're going to deliver solutions about it's about 10 so it's about 220 megawatt hour storage capacity. So it's a huge guy, right? So and
Mhm.
he choose us because he understand that we can provide necessary level of reliability, because he's a more targeting on like a business to business market segment, right, for trucks. So for them, they have to be sure that they will arrive in a certain place and will get access to that electricity, right? So to charge their trucks, right? And because it's one of the other problems that
Yeah.
infrastructure, charging infrastructure in general doesn't work well right now, right? It's not reliable. And with our system, we can guarantee that even 5 days of no sun, rainy days, we can generate we can provide electricity to all business customers. So it's like a typical configuration is a 300 kilowatt supercharger for heavy duty trucks, right? So this is one of the projects we are working on. Another project which is again more focused it's an area which is already connected to the grid, but without any they can increase capacity, right? So in the grid, and they're going to build like a small EV charging station. So I would like small. It's a couple of superchargers for standard for classic cars. So it's the storage capacity is about 63 megawatt hour. So it's about three and a half times less than for heavy duty trucks. And they're going to integrate it because again, so they don't have enough capacity to provide to serve all customers they want to serve. That is why they need to find additional power source. Solar, again, with our storage, so it's the best solution. And again, based compared to what we have, on the operational side, on the operational level, so you will get the price between 10 to 15 cents per kilowatt hour behind the meter price. Everything is already included. Actually, our price is cheaper, cheaper than business rate in from utility companies, right? So that is why you don't need to wait. You don't need to. You have the same service, the same price. Why should you wait and pay a lot of money to get connection to the grid, while you can organize your own small power station right in the middle of nowhere?
So I suppose that despite you can have local storage, your whole venture is going to also rely on strategic partnerships. Could you share with us who are going to be the key players with who you plan to scale your business, your key partners that you have identified so far?
So now we have a few partnerships, but it's mainly for product development, right? So we have a partnership with BSF. We we have a partnership with one of them, uh, global electrolyzer manufacturer. They will help us to with balance of plant design and etc. So in terms of business partnerships, I think I know what you mean. So I think you're talking about like a partnership with solar panels manufacturers, right? So actually we have that idea, but we didn't execute it yet, right? So but this is our plan. So in the near future, we just started our journey. So but we secured right now a partnership, which is a to secure and defense secure our core IP stuff, right? So because that's actually the most important stuff in the beginning, right? But in the future, of course, we have ideas to speak with flow battery teams, with lithium battery folks, right? So with solar wind folks, because we are complementary to each other, right? So we can offer in general, we can offer the full complete solution, right? So for the customer.
Okay. Just to move on the one aspect is today HyWatts is a US-based company. So I suppose you're as a startup you're going to focus on the US market, which seems logical. But is the sky the limit? Are you aiming to go beyond? Any concrete plans you can share, or anyway some ambitions you can share on that aspect?
Landry, of course, we're going to expand our business. I don't want to completely agree with you that if you're a US company, our initial focus is US. No, our initial focus on the markets where we see that people understand the problem and they're ready to jump into the partnerships, right? So we have partners in UK, we have partners in US, we have partners in Europe. So I would say that HyWatts is following for customers who really understand the problem, which the problem exists, and ready to build successful collaboration, right? So that's why US, because US right now is the country where a lot of programs, right, and a lot of and it's like a philosophy right now and main trend to move full electric, right? So one of the goals to have by 2035, 100% renewable power in the grids, right? Which is it's a it's a huge movement, right? So right now it's about an average in the country is about 40%. So we have to move to 100%. So it's a huge movement for next 12 years, next 11 years, right? So that is why so a lot of people and all community here right now is concentrated how to make that possible. So and of course, so we have to be here because we know how we can help to achieve that goal. And but we absolutely open for other markets. And as I said, so we have customers from already from UK and from Europe.
Right. So, if I'm an investor, what can you share today in terms of financials? I know that it's not the type of information you disclose, but really from a broad perspective, I mean, anything around gross revenue, anything around, what should I have in mind? Should I be interested to invest
Yeah,
in a
sure.
company like yours? Um,
So first of all, Landry, we are really well experienced team. We have already uh, successful exit, right? So in the similar technology, in the similar industry, we have my other co-founder, for instance, Sam Ruban. He was co-founder of Mighty Building Company, where they raised $180 million. So we understand how startups should be structured and how to build startup, right? But now return our focus on the $1.8 trillion opportunities. It's enormous opportunities because once again, the global goal, so everything should be moved to electric, right? And based on a long duration energy storage council report and McKinsey, so by 2035, it's expected that market for long duration energy storage is expected to achieve $1.8 trillion. Please show me the industry which can bring you so much opportunities to grow like from I would say from zero, right, in some countries to like a $1.8 trillion mark. Amazing. So and of course we based on that and we, as I said earlier, we started from business development side, so to understand what's the market segments and etc. And we see that we already have 3 contracts in negotiation after 3 years, right? Oh, three after just 6 months of operation of the company. So we have 3 contracts in negotiation. Moreover, one of the contracts recently was converted to like a real agreement already with cash behind that, right? So $57 million in LOIs and etc. So high level, we set up ambition, but very achievable goal all in front of us, which we call 5-5-5. Within next 5 years, we have to have 5 gigawatts deployment security in agreements and $5 billion target revenue. That's actually our like, global goal. And now we are well experienced founders, second time founders. We understand how to do that, right? So we already use our experience. So now we just moving to our goal, how to bring the company to IPO and make like additional, like new successful venture for all of us.
Very interesting and very convincing, because it's true that market is huge and we just can see all the applications around it. So we're reaching the end of the podcast. So maybe just to look at the next future, what are you trying to achieve by the end of this year, basically? And then maybe finalizing with a long-term success, what it would represent. It's a bit what you just mentioned, but from a global perspective, what would success look like in the longer term?
So because we just started, right? So actually, I would say that we have fundamental sort of fundamental validation already. So for me and for the team, of course, it's more about right now engineering execution, right? So because we already know what we have to do and what kind of resources and when that resources should be attracted to build a successful company. Of course, we will met with some challenges, right? So in this path, so 100%. But again, we understand how to do that, right? So, and we're ready for that challenge. And my priority for this year, and actually for this year, not only for this year, but also for 2025, is a team building. I want to attract the best in the class resources and experts from the market. And actually, I started to do that already, right? So I wanted to. So the second priority is business development. So because we have to bring our partners like investors and others that, for me and for my team and for HyWatts, the more important stuff is to have business. We want to have real revenue and become profitable company as soon as possible. This is our goal. And the third is that, of course, continue our like a development and deliver physical product, right? So, which is and this year we are going to build a prototype of fuel cell system. Is everything will be fine? I mean, in terms of fundraising and etc. Because it's a lot of stuff happening around every day. So and in the investment environment, but we were raising and actually successfully doing that. And so our aim for this year to build like a prototype of the system and validate some core and continue our validation on the fundamental stuff we already done.
All right. Very interesting and promising future we have here. So I really like to thank you, Alex, for all those insights. It's been really a great journey with you during this podcast. And I really want to wish you the best. I think your former success is also showing that HyWatts is on the right trajectory or journey. So thank you again for that, and hope the best to the team, to your venture, and hope to see you soon, and maybe in the next episode. Thank you so much.
Landry, thank you very much that you invited me to participate in your podcast. So I'm happy to be a speaker in front of your audience. So please reach me out if you have any additional questions. I will be happy to provide me more details and insights.
Thank you for watching or listening to the podcast, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation, from Fairval. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to it. We welcome your support, feedback, and suggestions, and we hope to see you at the next podcast. Fairval, Creating Value in Travel and Transportation.